9 matches to go, 27 points up for grabs. If the season so far is anything to go by, it won't be straightforward, but we are into the important stage, the run-in, where every result holds huge importance. And the first of those 9 is here at Home Park, and it sees a returning manager in the shape of Ryan Lowe, whose Preston side are pushing for the playoffs. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the pre-match show here on Argyle TV. I am Erin Black, and for reasons at both ends of the table, today feels big. It is the final game before the last international break, a chance to enter the final stretch with positive feelings, and Argyle need to boost confidence here at Home Park. They haven't won here since January, so a lot up for stake. You can, as always, follow all of the action over on Argyle TV. International fans, you are able to get your match passes for just £10, and if you are listening in the UK, a audio pass will cost you just £2.50. You can find them all on the website, pafc.co.uk. Now, you don't want to miss kickoff for this one, and there is so much to get through this afternoon. A lot to talk about and a lot going on the pitch behind me, because today is Plymouth Argyle's 14th annual Armed Services Day, and it's always a special date in the calendar. So we've got a lot to try and cram in before kickoff, which is at 3 p.m. So it's luckily I've got with me Katie Middleton, former Argyle ladies captain. Katie, the rain finally, what feels like the first time since we've been presenting together, held off.
Yeah, momentarily maybe. I'm not sure. It's not looking that bright around, is it? But we'll take the dryness for a minute.
You're here to bring the brightness today, Katie. Big game today. You know, we've got Ryan Lowe coming back. Preston is, pushing towards the top of the table. Us in a slightly different position. Lots to play for.
Yeah, massive game today. It feels like it's been a while since we've had a positive result here at Home Park. Things have gone a little bit wrong here recently, so. Yeah, today's a big opportunity to obviously try and get some points on the board, and we know how tight it is at the bottom of the table, so any points are going to be massive between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, we're used to Home Park kind of holding that reputation of a bit of an impenetrable fortress. I said in the intro there, we haven't actually won here since January now, which is a little bit different to what we're used to, so pressure is on Argyle a little bit to bring back the feel-good factor to Home Park today.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think you say we go back to January to the last win. You have to go back another, month to February for even our last goal here. So I think today's all about just trying to be positive and trying to get on the front foot as early as you can. And giving this crowd something to cheer about. Again, we know what a difference this ground can make when it's bouncing, it's noisy, and they can get behind the players. So yeah, hopefully the players give them something to kick on with today.
Yeah, and testament to Argyle as well, because of course even though they're not on the best of runs, Home Park's still going to be a sellout this afternoon. The fans will be here in force, ready to cheer on the Green Army. And coming up this afternoon, we're going to be hearing from both Ian Foster and Ryan Lowe. We're going to be joined live by Argyle Women's Jade Barrow, who has to juggle playing football with her career in the Navy. And we will touch on the fact that today it could be Ryan Hardy's 200th game for Argyle. I'll probably let you in on a little secret. It is going to be his 200th game for Argyle when we take a look at the team sheet in a second. But let's take a look then at the full squad, and we'll be looking at the Preston side just afterwards as well. So starting with Argyle, you will see Ryan Hardy there making his 200th appearance in the lineup. We've also got Michael Cooper back in goal again for us, Jordan Houghton, Julio Plegathuelo, Joe Edwards back in the starting lineup, of course wearing the captain's armband, Ryan in there, Morgan Whittaker, Mikael Miller, Mustafa Bundu, Lewis Gibson, Adam Randall and Ashley Phillips. And on the subs bench, Connor Hazard, Lino Souza, Dan Scarr, Callum Wright, Alfie Devine, Brendan Galloway, Ben Wayne, Caleb Roberts and Freddie Isaka. Few changes in there, Katie, and we've got to touch on Ryan Hardy as well. 200 game for him today, big time.
Yeah, fantastic achievement for Ryan. I think we've spoken about it before this season, but I think people maybe questioned whether he'd be able to make that step up from League One into the Championship, and he's obviously proved a few people wrong. And it's fantastic that he's obviously got his 200th start today, or his 200th today. So Yeah, great for him, and hopefully he can mark it with a goal, fingers crossed.
Yeah, a couple of notable names missing, of course, from Argyle's lineup. Forshaw not in there. Barley Mumba as well. Suspension for him, so we won't be seeing him today.
No, and maybe a silly yellow card last weekend, which, gives him a 2-game suspension. And I think it's a shame because last week we started to see the Barley Mumba of old, and he was being a little bit more positive and getting forward. So, yeah, a bit of a miss for him. But obviously he's replaced by Joe Edwards, who comes in and, we know what Joe's all about. He'll lead by example and, that energy, enthusiasm on the pitch, which hopefully will just drive everyone else forwards with him as well.
We've actually seen a lot of players starting wearing the captain armband so far this season. It was almost a bit of a surprise to see Joe in there, as we're used to seeing him starting lineup as our captain.
Yeah, and I think it's good. I think sometimes, you play a lot of youngsters who have lots of energy and drive, but having that bit of leadership, I think, is really important. And Joe certainly brings that. I think, when we've seen Morgan Whittaker with the armband, it's potentially kind of taken away from his game a little bit. So I think it's good that he can just concentrate on his football, let others do that leadership stuff, and Joe's the perfect man to do that.
Yeah, and you mentioned, younger players as well on the subs bench today. Caleb Roberts, Freddie Osaka. Again, Ian Foster really kind of pushing this kind of younger-looking team and, members of the academy as well.
Yeah, and I think it's great that those two are on the bench again. We've seen them come on and, they've performed admirably and, really shown what they're all about. And, the academy here is a big part of the club. And I think to have those guys on the bench regularly and showing what they're all about is great for Argyle with that kind of one club mentality.
And going back to Ryan Hardy, we'll be able to look at some of his best bits a little bit later on. Didn't have his best game the last time out, but we know what his quality is like. And I think if he's able to get a goal today here at Home Park on that 200th game for him, I think it will mean quite something.
Yeah, he would probably have been the most disappointed person last weekend. Missed a couple of really good chances and opportunities that you'd probably expect him to take. Sometimes these games happen. Things don't necessarily fall for you. But the fact that he keeps working hard and he keeps, grafting as much as he does, I'm sure that hopefully he'll get back to the form that we're used to with him and hopefully, like I say, a goal in his 200th appearance. Yeah,
if there was going to be a day to do it, I think today would be a pretty good day. Let's take a look at our opposition then. It is Preston North End, managed by none other than Ryan Lowe. On screen for you now, in goal for them, Freddie Woodman, Liam Lindsay, Will Keane, Mads Frukje Jensen, Robbie Brady, Ali McCann, Jordan Story, Andrew Hughes, Ryan Ledson, Mlutin Osmajic, Brad Potts, and on their bench, David Cornell, Greg Cunningham, Leighton Stewart, Ben Woodburn, Liam Miller, Dwayne Holmes, Jack Watmore, Noah Mwene and Josh Seary. He's had, Ryan Lowe, had to do a couple of changes, but he's had a pretty, regular starting lineup for quite a few weeks now, Katie, but we're seeing a couple of changes in there.
Yeah, I think it's 4 changes for them from their last outing at Stoke. I think, is that a reflection of the result from last weekend? Obviously, they'd been on a fantastic run. I think it was 7 games unbeaten before last weekend. So, he's obviously rung the changes today. I think a couple were enforced with injury. Ben Whiteman missing out, who's been an important player for Preston this season. So, a couple of changes, but lots of players who are still dangerous that we need to be wary of.
Yeah, number 44, Brad Potts, returning after 4 weeks out. A bit more difficult to get into the swing of things when you've not, been in the team for that amount of time.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's, a lot about game time, and I think that's the big thing that you miss when you're injured. You can get up to speed with some running, but actually that sort of match sharpness and things, he obviously won't have. But Ryan Lowe obviously trusts him and thinks he's ready to be thrown back into a game early on. Yeah. So, he'll be a dangerous player, probably play on that right wing back sort of role. But other players that are dangerous in there as well. So Frukje, who's probably one of their number 10s, and he's been dangerous. He's created a lot for them over recent weeks. I think he's got 6 assists this season. So a player that we're going to have to be very wary of and try and stop him from getting on the ball in space and making them tick.
And a lot of the attention, of course, is going to be on Ryan Lowe coming back to Home Park. He's going to have his side obviously pumped up for a return, but, you know, mixed feelings upon his leaving of Argyle, albeit a little while ago now. You know, big day for him too. Yeah,
I'm sure he'll enjoy being back here. Whether some of the fans will necessarily enjoy it as much as him, we will see. We'll see what the reception's like. But, you know, he obviously did good things here for Argyle, and I don't think anyone can begrudge him that whatsoever. But yeah, I'm sure there will be a few mixed reactions from the fans, let's just say.
Yes, we'll have to watch this space and see what happens. Let's turn our attention to Armed Forces Day then, because today is the 14th annual Armed Services Day at Home Park. The club and the city has a very proud history of supporting the military, and every year around this time of year, representatives from every area of the military come to Home Park, and they show off to fans here what they're all about, educating people about what goes on, and also celebrate the great work that our service people do. This year, as with last year, Armed Services Day at Plymouth Argyle is in partnership with Babcock.
Be aware, enemy fast air spotted in AO.
The away day. A shared passion and commitment. 12,000 miles across the season. Unforgettable memories. Past players, the goals. Waiting players, supporters, young and old. Capturing the moment, living the dream. Green Army, belting out the genocide. The stands, the shirts, the drum beats, the surging crowd moving as a giant wave, crusaders one and all, the Green Army.
Well, joining me now on Argyle TV to talk about what it's like playing for Argyle as well as working in the military is striker and Royal Navy Lieutenant Jade Burrow. Jade, thank you very much for being here this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we were just saying off camera, you've just been away playing for the Royal Navy. How does that all work then, fitting that in around, you know, your actual day job?
At times with great difficulty. It can be really, really busy. So just a juggling act of working my day job and then when I can, attending training, matches on a weekend, and most recently playing for the Royal Navy football team as well as the UK Armed Forces team. Yeah,
I was going to say, you've got a couple of teams under your belt, Argyle Ladies, Royal Navy, and like you said, the Armed Forces team. I mean, that is a lot of fixtures to fit into your schedule, I imagine.
Yes, it is quite a few, and we do quite a bit of travelling. So we recently had our training camp in Salou, Spain.
Oh, okay, nice.
So we returned from there, and then we resumed our inter-services fixtures. We played the Army this week and thankfully won.
Oh, good,
1-0.
okay, phew. What was the score?
1-0.
1-0,
Yes,
1-0, wow, okay. So I know obviously we are here to talk about football today, but it's just fascinating what you do. Can you just give people watching at home a bit of an overview about what you do for work?
I'm a logistics officer in the Navy. I work at a Royal Marines unit currently. I was previously on Queen Elizabeth. I'm what they call a sprog in the Navy, so I've not been in for very long. But I work with a lot of wonderful people who've got a lot of experience and certainly helped me.
Yeah, but I mean, sprog or not, you've still got a few things under your belt, like you said, going away on that deployment. I know as well you were helping out kind of as part of the Gaza conflict as well. So, quite a few really big experiences happened in your career so far.
Yes, I've been extremely lucky, you could call it, because that's what we join up to do. I deployed to Cyprus just before Christmas to help with the humanitarian aid to the Israel-Gaza crisis. That was a great experience for me. Recently went over to Norway to do the winter training, which if you've seen Comic Relief recently with Alex Scott and co, it was a bit like that, really.
Okay.
So that was quite fun, and a lot of my teammates back at Plymouth Argyle, they often struggle to understand what I do actually get up to and what actually is my day job.
Yeah, I can imagine. And are the team quite supportive in you going out and going on these deployments and getting the work done?
Yes, they are incredibly supportive. I think sometimes frustrated, as well as Ryan, our manager, because that is quite hard to plan for.
Yes.
So it's almost like having someone who's injured constantly in and out of the squad. But they appreciate what I do, and that there's not always a lot of choice in the matter, which is the bottom line. I've got a really good support network.
Yeah.
My husband, he's a Royal Marine as well.
Yeah.
So luckily I got to see him in Norway, and we recently got married. So we've not seen much of each other, but without that support network, my team, my family, it'd be a real struggle.
Yeah, I can imagine. And we've got to mention, because Katie didn't play in the same team together, because Katie told me you played against each other.
Yes.
When you were
Many
with
times.
Portsmouth, Dockyard Derby. Another town with fantastic military history.
It is, yeah. So my previous team was Portsmouth, who I think we're sort of following in their footsteps, if you will. We can certainly progress, and they're doing fantastically at the top of the league table. With Portsmouth, I've played against Plymouth quite a few times at Home Park on this fantastic stage.
Yeah.
I think we've got a way to go, but we're certainly playing our part.
And the collaboration on today's like today between the club and all different branches of the military, how important do you think doing something like the event today is?
It's a really good opportunity to sort of appreciate and honour our armed service personnel. We do a lot for the country. We sacrifice a lot, not just the people serving in the military, but also their families that take up a lot of the brunt of us being away and obviously devoting a lot of our time to our work.
Yeah.
So it's a big thank you to everyone who does do that, and just a chance to put them on a stage and give them that big thank you.
Yeah, well, absolutely a big thanks from us to all of you guys in the services and what you do. And specifically a thank you to you, Jade, as well, for coming and talking to us. Are you going to get a chance to watch the game today?
I am indeed.
Excellent,
yes, thank
perfect.
you.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much. That is Lieutenant Jade Barrow from the Royal Navy. And of course you are watching Argyle TV, and we're building up to another huge game here at Home Park. Playoff chasing Preston are in town, and all of the details on how you can get your streaming passes can be found online. Well, it's been 3 weeks since Argyle's last win. They do have a 3-point cushion to the relegation places, but it is very tight down there, and they'll want to pull away as quickly as possible and try and get some more points on the board starting today. Last weekend's draw at Blackburn, it was a positive performance, and one Ian Foster is hoping that they can build on.
One of the questions leading into the game were around, were the players nervous going into the game? Did they feel under any pressure? You know, and they certainly didn't look like a team who were nervous or under pressure. I thought the performance was excellent. We're obviously disappointed to lose the early goal, but before the goal I thought we were in a good place. We picked a team to play a certain way, and the game plan worked, other than getting the extra goal. You know, we were aware of the threat that they posed through Schmodix, and he's got the early goal, which was disappointing for us, but we showed incredible bravery to remain calm and just take the game to them consistently and constantly for what was a 95-minute game, I think, in total. So a really proud performance in terms of going up there, dominating possession, dominating territorially, and creating a boatload of chances that ordinarily we'd stick away.
And I suppose the trick is doing that with a couple of extra goals, obviously.
Yes.
9 more times.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But listen, we only look at doing it in the next game, you know, and it does give the players confidence, because we look back at the game and analyse, you know, what we've done well in the game in areas of development. The players can be pleased and proud of the performance, but it's left that, like, I suppose, that tinge of disappointment in them, and they want to put it right, and that's how they should feel going into Saturday's game. So the performance was good to a point, and you know, you can get a sense, particularly from the forward guys, that they just wanted to address that, you know, and hopefully on Saturday we can replicate that performance and then go one better.
You say you had the sense from them. Is that you've seen it this week, that's one thing, obviously?
Yeah, listen, I walked into a really frustrated and disappointed dressing room, because they kind of got the sense that it was 2 points drop, given the chances that they created for themselves and the level of performance they achieved. And you've seen from the training sessions this week that there's a hunger and desire in them to put that right. It won't be easy. I imagine the chances that we'll get on Saturday might be few and far between against a really robust and rugged defensive unit in Preston. But I believe that if we play to that level of performance, then we've got a chance.
Just on Preston, they obviously lost last weekend, but are still in with a chance, aren't they, of the playoffs? So they've got a heck of a lot to play for too. So how do you kind of see the game panning out potentially?
Like I say, a really challenging opponent, something that you don't face every week in terms of their approach and how they play. So we've got to be ready for that, the physical aspect of the game that they'll bring. They've got some really good players that can operate in between the lines who can hurt you. So in the makeup of the team, in the 3-4-1-2, if you like, the 10 is an interesting player. And we've got to be able to control him and manage him, because he can be really effective for them. Both 9s are a threat. They've got a different type of player in the wing back positions. One who's an orthodox one, if you like, and one who's a 9, really, who's transitioned into a wing back, but he's a huge danger cutting inside the pitch. So we're aware of the quality that they've got and what they bring, but we've got to make it about us. We've got to impose ourselves on the game, and we've got to be able to show the Argyle fans what we're capable of doing, at home park, and that's what we aim to do. We want to play on the front foot. We want to have that level of positivity in our play, and I expect a really challenging and tough game.
Katie is back with me, and Katie, you were working that game, a kind of a mixture of frustration and encouragement, would you say?
Very much so, yeah. We spoke about it after the game, but I think we felt at the time it was probably 2 points dropped in terms of the amount of chances that they created, and that was the frustrating thing about it, because on another day, you maybe win that game 4 or 5-1. But then on the flip side, you know, it's been a while since we created that many chances, and I think that was the positive side of the game. The fact that we were much more calm in possession, maintained possession for longer periods of time, that enabled us to get up the pitch more, get more bodies forwards into the box and create those opportunities, although we didn't take them on the day. But actually the fact that you're obviously creating chances is much better than, you know, a few of the games we've seen recently, maybe particularly the Sheffield Wednesday game, the 1-0 loss. So yeah, definitely a mix of positives and negatives from the game, but again, it's another point in the right direction, which just, again, it pulled us slightly further away. You know, we were 2 points away before the game, 3 points away now. So, yeah, definitely positives and negatives to take from the game.
I mean, I think you'd like to think, looking at the odds, if Argyle were to continue playing like that, really, they should start winning more often than not. I think what we saw last weekend was, you know, unfortunate, like you said, in terms of chances. You know, the best way for Argyle to pick up points, is it playing more like that?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, you know, that transitional game.
Here's someone that will definitely know. Pete, you know, what do Argyle need to do going forwards to make it all work? Words of wisdom. Oh, great. Words of wisdom is always from Pete. 2-0 Argyle, of course. You love to see it. Pilgrim Pete has been, you know, a bit of a Nostradamus when it comes to scores before, so we can only hope that he predicts it today. Katie, do you think Argyle are in with a shot at winning this afternoon?
Yeah, of course we are. I think, yeah, hopefully we won't bother turning up otherwise. But yeah, definitely. You know, we've got to play like we did last week. We've got to be positive. We've got to get on the ball. Like we said, get players up the pitch in support of Ryan Hardy as much as we can. But I definitely think, you know, there's everything there today to make this a really good game, and hopefully one that we finish on the right end of.
Yeah, and of course this is the final fixture before we go into an international break, so it's one Argyle kind of, you know, have time to put all their energy into it, don't they?
Yeah, and I think, you know, we've said it before, going into that break, it's nice to finish on a positive note and have you know, positive feelings moving into that. When you lose games before a break, you kind of have to dwell on those for a while before you can put things right. So yeah, it's obviously nice, and it would be great today to pick up those 3 points and finish on a high before we go into that little break. Yeah,
I mean, after the break there's only 8 more games left. I can't believe there's that few. The season's kind of flown by, so Argyle, you know, they really do need to capitalise on that. As we said before, you've kind of got that 3-point cushion at the minute, but it's very tight at the bottom. There isn't really a lot of room to play with.
Yeah, it's massively tight. You know, we don't want to be down there, but that's where we find ourselves, like you say, with 8 games to go after today. So it's about picking up as many points as often as you can. You look at some of the fixtures coming up, you know, you pick out Rotherham, QPR, Stoke, Millwall as games that we can potentially win. So yeah, plenty of points still on offer.
Yeah, lots to go on, and we've got the Royal Marines band coming in just behind me, and Casey will step to one side just so you can have a listen as they make their way around the pitch. That was very nice to be able to catch the Royal Marines band just starting their way around the pitch. We will, of course, need to turn our attention back to the football, though, and Argyle certainly going to be hoping that Ryan Hardy shows his best, not only today, but in those remaining games of the season as well. Today, as we mentioned, is his 200th match for Argyle, and what a career it's been so far for the Scot. and this is the pre-match show on Argyle TV with Erin Black and Katie Middleton. We are building up to Argyle's Sky Bet Championship game with Preston North End, who are of course managed by former Argyle boss Ryan Lowe, and it will be the first time Lowe's return to Home Park, and it's an occasion he says he's looking forward to.
Ryan, return to Home Park for you this weekend, Plymouth Argyle away. How's everyone feeling going into Saturday after a disappointment of last weekend?
Yeah, they're all right, mate. Listen, as I say, we can't dwell on it because the games come thick and fast, and you know we're still on target for our points or what we wanted. It was tough the weekend gone, obviously losing at home, you know, 2 sloppy goals which can be avoidable. But we have to look positively to the next one, and the next one's Plymouth Argyle. And as you said, yeah, looking forward to going down there, looking forward to seeing some old faces. Fantastic football club, well followed, well backed, fantastic fan base, and yeah, we're looking forward to it, me and the players.
A lot said about the last game before the international break, but how important is it to go into it, into the next set of fixtures, knowing that you're on the back of 3 points and in a good place?
Massive. It is massive for us where we are now at this stage, because when we come back we'll have 9 games to go, and then there's obviously a lot of points to play for. But when you've lost a game of football, you want to get back collecting some points, and that's going to be the aim, definitely. But we know we're going down to, you know, a tough place. That's always been tough to get results away at Home Park. But the lads are ready to go. They've got some business to deal with because of the results and disappointment they had last weekend, and they want to put that right as quick as you can. And if you do that and get a positive result before the international break, we'll have a bit of time off, and then we can come back, you know, smiles on our faces, ready to go for the next 9 games, which is obviously going to be challenging, but it's one the lads are really chomping at the bit for.
You said after the Stoke game that you almost hoped it was a bit of a kick up the backside to your players.
Yeah.
Have you seen a reaction already in training? Or?
Yeah, training's been excellent. Monday, Tuesday, the reaction of the group on the Monday when we debriefed the game was brilliant. You know, a lot of accountability in there and taking responsibility for their actions and what we didn't do good at. And I showed them a load of positive stuff after it. I showed them how good he was with it and how good he can be. And I think that's the clear messages now. Okay, you've had a dip, didn't get your result you wanted. Performance weren't great, albeit we probably could have come out with a result. But if you can't win it, certainly don't lose it. But the attitude and the application of the lads have been spot on. You know, and then obviously Monday training on the grass, they were great. Tuesday, day off yesterday, and we'll prep them now for 2 days going on to Plymouth, which is important. But as I always want, smiley faces around the place, bubbly. On to the next one, and the next one's Plymouth Argyle away.
What kind of a team are Plymouth Argyle at the moment in your eyes?
Well, look, they've still got some good players. They've had good players all season. You know, they've had players in and out and a couple of suspensions and whatnot, but you know, got some firepower in there, haven't they, with Hardy and Whittaker, which we know scored plenty of goals. But it's not just them two you need to worry about, is right the way through the squad. They haven't been getting as many wins and points as they'd liked. You know, but Fozzie's gone in there, putting his own stamp on it and what he wants to do. We'll respect, obviously, Plymouth Argyle for what they are, but we've got to worry about what we do. And as I said, you know, it was a disappointing result and performance from us last weekend. We've got to put that right away at Plymouth. But the fact of the matter is they're going to be dangerous on the counter-attack, but we've got to make sure we're dangerous in both boxes too. They've been solid, they've tried to be solid and resolute, you know, in terms of what they do and how they go about the business. But they've definitely got an attacking brand and an attacking style of players that can be on the front foot, and we've got to nullify their strengths, definitely.
Well, it's always something, Katie, when a former manager comes back to town. 6 of the current Argyle squad were signed by Ryan Lowe, and loads of other ones, you know, played under him while he was here. You know, it'll be interesting for him to see all that happen.
Yeah, I think it'll obviously be nice for him to come back and see some of those players that he has worked a lot with. Obviously signed a few of them here at Argyle anyway. I think on the flip side of that, you know, probably he knows how those players will play.
Yes.
And knows potentially how to stop you getting the best out of those players when you've worked so closely with them. But also, you know, the players that are here will know what Ryan Lowe expects from his players, and that can help them as well. So it's definitely pros and cons between an old manager coming back and obviously knowing the players that he's brought here, but also knowing what he wants from his players.
Yeah, and of course, game at hand, Preston won the reverse fixture back in September, but Argyle did have chances to win that, so they are really going to want to kind of push it this time and make sure that Ryan doesn't walk away with 2 wins against Argyle.
Yeah, and I think if you look at that game, Argyle had something like 67% possession, had 17 shots on goal, so it wasn't a one-sided game. Argyle were very much in it, if anything, on top. So they'll certainly be wanting to wrong the rights of the September fixture and get 3 points here today and get one over on Ryan, though, for sure.
Yeah, that's certainly what we want to see here on Argyle TV. And one thing is for certain, though, Preston will be looking to get back to their winning ways, of course, after they lost their first game since the end of January to none other than Stoke a few days ago.
This is Hughes, he's missed it this time. John Ho now running through on the edge of the box, hitting a good shot, and it's a good save from Freddie Woodman. He denied the South Korean, who's got 2 in his last 3 games. Baker's corner, into the middle, flicked on towards the far post, and it's been missed from 2 yards out by Rose. Gooch now, ready to take on Brown again. American, a long way round Brown, getting a left-footed cross in too, and this time Stoke have scored, and it's Lauren who pokes it on the back stick. He was only a yard out, but it came from Gooch's endeavour down the left. Hughes, can they find a way into the box here? There's 3 waiting in the middle. Fokya does put it in, and it's Osmajic! That's what he can do! And it's Martin Osmajic that draws Preston level. He's waited a while for the goal. It's played up towards Whiteman, who's running through this time, and it's Whiteman all the way through, saved by the goalkeeper Everson. Puts it in with pace and purpose towards the far post too, and it's just gone in from the inside of the post, and Stoke have got perhaps what will be a late winner.
Well, we're getting closer to kick-off here on Argyle TV. Remember, you can still get your match passes online, and there is still a lot to come before we wrap up to kick-off. All right, let's remind ourselves of the starting teams for this afternoon's match then. For Argyle, Michael Cooper, Jordan Houghton, Julio Plegathuelo, Joe Edwards, Ryan Hardy, Morgan Whittaker, Mikel Miller, Mustafa Bundu, Lewis Gibson, Adam Randall and Ashley Phillips. Those are your starting 11. And if we cast our eyes over the Preston lineup as well, they are comprised of Freddie Woodman in goal, Liam Lindsay, Will Keane, Mads Frukyard Jensen, Robbie Brady, Ali McCann, Jordan Story, Andrew Hughes, Ryan Ledson, Milutin Osmajic and Brad Potts. Katie, you know, are you looking at those teams thinking relatively evenly matched? Do you think one is kind of slightly outstripping the other?
Yeah, I think, you know, relatively evenly matched, and obviously Preston come in off the back of a disappointing result. We come back in off the back of a more positive result. So, yeah, it's all to play for today. You know, Preston want to win this game in hand, that they've got to bring them within 2 points of the playoff places. Argyle need the points, we know that, in terms of pulling ourselves away from the relegation zone. So it's going to be a cagey affair. I think that the last 9 games of the season will all be pretty cagey. There's lots riding on it, lots to play for. So, hopefully a good footballing game that, this full home park crowd can watch today. Yeah,
is there anyone in the Argyle squad that you're going to be looking at to hopefully kind of make the difference today?
I think it's good to see Bundu in the lineup again. I thought he was really positive against Blackburn last weekend. Obviously Ryan Hardy, we want him to get a goal on his 200th appearance today. They've all got an important role in the squad, and Morgan Whittaker got a goal again last weekend after a bit of a drought of 5 games without scoring. So hopefully he's coming in on the back of that confidence builder, and 3 players who hopefully can make the difference for Argyle.
Yeah, and similarly, Preston's team, anyone Argyle fans should be keeping an eye on, be a bit wary of?
Well, I think Will Keane's the big danger man for them. He's got 12 goals this season, I think, for them. So, he's dangerous. And also, we've spoken about Frukyar as well, that playing in that hole, can we stop him from doing that? Getting on the ball and causing problems for Argyle. So lots of different players again that can cause us problems for them. Yeah, we've got to mention as well, people may have seen behind me and Katie while we were talking, a rope being slung down from the top of Home Park Stadium. We have got members of the armed services doing an abseil around the stadium. I'm counting, I think, 4 ropes at the minute. We're starting down by the Barn Park end, making our way all the way up to the Devonport end. There they all go. Expertly done. Everyone landing safely, no hiccups. That's how you do an abseil properly. Katie, why weren't we asked to have a go at that? I have no idea. They've missed a trick there, haven't they? I think me and you could have been a fantastic abseil team just here at the Devonport end. Maybe next year we'll have to ask, see if the option is available. Back to the match. We've seen by the atmosphere around here with the band, with the abseiling, with the crowd, it's going to be a big day. Do you think it's important, Argyle really take the energy from here and use it to their advantage? Yeah, I think Armed Services Day here is always a really good occasion. It's a really big occasion, obviously, with a military city like we are here. So, hopefully the players can kind of thrive off that atmosphere that's already been created. Yeah, OK, well, let's head over to the Argyle camp then and get a final word from Kevin Nanskaville before kick-off.
Nant's final game before the international break is always good to sign off on a positive result, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I thought our performance last week probably warranted more than a point, so hopefully we can rectify that and get 3 points today.
Do you want to just talk us through the team for today?
Yeah, just a couple of changes. Joey comes in for Barley and Rands comes in for Adam Forshaw.
Obviously Barley was the enforced one because of the suspension, but nothing quite like having the experience and someone who's played over 200 games to come in Joe Edwards.
Yeah, exactly that. So he's looking forward to it, and as is Rands. So we're all good to go.
Obviously, you guys will be professional, but there's the added thing around this game about Ryan Lowe coming back. You obviously worked with him. Are you looking forward again to locking horns with him?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, Ryan was fantastic for this football club, fantastic for me and my family personally. So really looking forward to seeing him and John Lucas. But once the whistle starts, then we're out to win and get 3 points.
Yeah, obviously they are after 3 points for a completely different reason. They're quite close to the playoffs, so it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've said it every week we've done this, Charlie. It's a championship, so every game is a real challenge, and today's certainly no different.
Let's have a quick look at the other games being played today then. There was an early kick-off in the South Wales derby with Swansea beating Cardiff 2-0. Birmingham and Sheffield Wednesday have got some tough games against Watford and Ipswich. And 2 of the bottom 3 play as Rotherham go to Huddersfield. And we'll have eyes on Stoke against Norwich and QPR's trip to Sunderland as well. Right, we are pretty much ready to go here on Argyle TV. I think we've covered everything we've needed to in anticipation of what should be a very good match this afternoon. A reminder, if you haven't got your match passes, you can do so over on the website, pafc.co.uk. Now is absolutely the time. Katie, thank you very much for joining me in the mizzle this afternoon.
Yep, thanks for having me.
And your commentary is going to be done this afternoon by Charlie Price and Mark Edworthy. They are standing by. So without any further ado, it's Argyle versus Preston, and it's up next.
Hello, welcome along. It is a wet and drizzly day, and as you've been hearing, it's Armed Services Day, and that cheer you heard in the background was because one of the members of the armed forces who was coming up and taking a penalty has just smashed it miles over the top. So not great from him. Hoping for better from the actual footballers today. 9 matches to go, then 5 here at Home Park. It is the time of year when things start to get pretty serious, and for both sides today, Argyle and Preston, there is still so